What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? We are back for another episode of 90 Day Fiancé Season 8. I think this is episode 2. And as I told you guys in my first review, Niecy got me watching this show.
It's so good.
So she gonna be joining us for our reviews on 90 Day Fiancé. Okay? Well, most of them, because you know she busy. So.
I am. Look, this is what happens when you live with people.
Pat, you in the video, but it's okay. You alright. No, you fine. I just want to let you know you're there, girl. We're going to keep it moving, though. Alright, so this episode, let's talk about Brandon and Julia. Now, Brandon, remember, is the one who lives in Virginia, who lives with his parents, and his mama is very
Attached.
very attached and in his business. Okay. Now his soon to be wife is Julia.
Yeah.
Julia is from Russia, right? Wasn't it Russia?
Eastern Europe, whatever.
Right.
I mean, no disrespect, but
right. And she's a go-go dancer.
She dances with her clothes on.
Well, yeah. I didn't say she was a scripper.
No, I'm just letting everybody know
because
the mama was
on some other stuff. Okay.
Yes.
So, let me give you a little bit of light. Move this light a little bit. Okay. So, she gets there. She flies into the airport, and that is Dulles Airport. I thought it was. That's Dulles, because, like I said, where they live is just not that far. Now, while they're on their way up, he is still talking to his mom about this whole, birth control situation and all of that,
That was crazy.
It was very crazy, but it gets crazy. We'll get to that in a second. They get to the airport, and the two of them look like they really, truly are in love. Like, they was kissing and hugging and kissing. It was like they totally forgot her parents were there, his parents were there.
Look, he said that he told her when he saw her for the first time that he was going to marry her. So.
He did. Now, he allowed his parents to come with him to the airport because they promised him a weekend in D.C.
And they pay for everything.
And they pay for everything.
Flight.
They pay for the flight. They pay for the hotel. And they're staying at a nice hotel because their room is like, you could tell it's downtown D.C. and their room they could see to the Capitol. So that's pricey, okay? But the parents are staying with them, like not in the same hotel room, but their parents are staying the weekend in D.C. with them.
Yeah.
So they get to the hotel and the mom is like, I made dinner reservations, so y'all put y'all stuff down and come on down. And Natalie is like, Julia is like, I just got off a plane. I am tired.
That's an 8-hour flight at least.
Right. Well, yeah. And she was like, I don't understand. Like I know that's your mom. She was trying to be very polite. She was like, I know that's your mom and all, and I appreciate it, but I just want to lay down. Like, can we just order some food? Like, I'm tired.
Yeah. She wasn't feeling it.
She wasn't feeling it at all. So he convinces her to come down for dinner. So they late, but they get there. And baby, before the daggone entrees could come,
the mom started being a mom.
No, that's more than a mom.
She started being the mom that she is. Like, she is still attached to her son. She thinks that her son is still 3 years old, and she needs to be there, and she needs to guide him through life, and she needs to tell him this and that, and she needs to make doctor's appointments for his girlfriend.
So first of all, she told them that they are not going to be staying in the same room. Now, first of all, I feel like that was something that she should have said. He should have told her.
Yes, because in episode 1, the dad told the son, have you told her? And he said no. And he was like, you need to tell her before she gets here. You need to let her know. Because imagine how upset she's going to be if she's thinking that y'all going to be coming in every night, only to find out that y'all are going to be in separate rooms.
So he didn't tell her. And like I said, before the entree could get there, Mama was like, oh, so did he tell you that y'all not going to be sleeping in the same room? And she is looking at him like,
say it with your chest. You need to speak up.
Right. She was like, I need him to be a man. Like, he's not a child. I'm going to need him to speak up to his parents. And he was hemming and hawing. And, well,
didn't say much.
Well, yeah, that's what she told. Yeah. And she was really looking at him like, Oh, so you're not gonna say nothing. You just gonna let them. Okay, cool. Then the mama started talking. Mind you, they eating dinner. Then the mama brings up the birth control situation. And when I asked them, are you on birth control? Well, you know, birth control, you guys, are you thinking about having kids? And she was like, well, no, not about, for 3 years. And mama was like, well, you need to get on some sort of birth control. Things happen, accidents happen. Child Julia was like, I ain't had an accident in 26 years. Now, I don't think she was trying to say she been having sex for 26 years, but I think her point was, listen, I ain't had no accidents and I've been sexually active. I'm good. And then she was like, I don't want to take medicine. Like, I talked to my doctor about it, and, it's not a good thing. The mama gonna say, well, medicine is different here in the United States. You can take it. It's safe here.
No.
It's the same damn... Girl,
and I can't imagine ever having that conversation with, like, somebody else's mom other than my own. Like,
I ain't never even had that conversation with my mama. Like, that don't... No, ma'am. Mm-mm. And that's what she said. She said, I don't even talk to my parents, my own mother about this. I'm not going to sit here and talk to yours. Mind you, Dad was sitting there. He was sitting there. And again, he ain't saying nothing. I mean, he was trying to interpret for her, but he ain't saying nothing. They got back to that hotel room, baby. Julia lit his ass up. Told him, I need you to be a man. I need you to stand up. She was like, she said, so you're going to be getting up in the morning, going to work, coming home, working on the farm. The only time I'm really going to have to spend with you is at night. So you mean to tell me that we're not going to be able to spend a long time together at night because we're going to be in separate rooms? He told me, so I can cuddle with you for a little while before I go to my room.
His mom is going to be peeking in the door every 5 seconds. Hey guys, what are you doing?
Put your feet on the floor. Feet on the floor. Feet on the floor.
Hey guys, what time can you guys pull the cover back? I want to make sure you don't do anything underneath. Like, that's going to be his mom. She's like, Brandon, can you come help me on the farm? She's going to be thinking of everything she can.
Right. So, what I love, though, is Miss Julia told him, she said, well, I tell you what, you don't have to worry about birth control tonight because you won't be getting none.
She's feisty, and I like her.
Yeah, so far so good. I like her. I like her better than some of these other women.
I like her better than most of like everybody else.
So let's talk about Mike and Natalie.
Because Natalie, she's been playing games for too many seasons.
So these are one of the couples that was on before the 90 days or something, I think it's called, before the 90.
They were on last season.
So Natalie, the visa came through and Natalie's on her way, and the mom is, sad to see her go and everything, but do what you gotta do. Now, back here in the United States, remember last episode, she wasn't comfortable with Uncle Bo staying in the house. Now, me and her differ on this. I understand her concern. Now, I don't have to like her to understand her concern. I understand her concern. She's flying to another country with people she doesn't know, to a new place, and she don't know. I mean, she barely know Mike. I can understand her not wanting to be the only woman alone in, a strange place with this strange, she don't know him.
Well, at the end of the day, like, you also signed up for the situation. So, like, who are you to inconvenience somebody who is living at the house with him? Like, that's his family. And Mike agreed to, like, let Uncle Bo, who apparently is actually his cousin, to let him stay there. So, I just feel like the audacity of you. Also, it's not even like you're like a true ride or die chick. Like, you couldn't even say that you love this man.
That is true.
You couldn't even say that you loved him, and you want him to inconvenience his family for you? I couldn't do it. No. I feel like it would be different if the relationship was a bit stronger and you had this concern, but it's just like, at this point, we don't even know about you for real.
I understood it. Like I said, I understood. I'm not saying that I liked it or agree with it, but I'm just saying I understood it. And Uncle Bo seemed like he may have some challenges. Like, he looked like he'd have lived a rough life.
Yeah, I don't know if he seemed like he been through the ringer a little bit.
Because when he said he was 50, I was like, that's it? I mean, he looked like so I'm thinking there may be some other reasons why he lives with Mike. You know what? I guess is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, they didn't put him on the street or nothing. He gonna go live with his
kids.
Yeah, his brother or his kid, somebody for And he was saying, hopefully, after a few weeks, Natalie will feel comfortable, and then he'll move back. And then he's going to say, oh, the barn. You going to put the man in the barn?
I just think it's crazy. I just think it's crazy that he's willing to inconvenience his family, who is stuck by him through whatever, for her.
Well, he gets to the airport to pick her up, and he has flowers. Now, all these men have flowers. That must be a requisite. They must tell them the prerequisite is that you need to bring some flowers when you go to the airport, because all of them have flowers.
I would want flowers, wouldn't you? I mean, if you were in their situation, you wanna,
I guess.
We on TV. First of all, I would want flowers in a regular situation, such as this. So if we're especially gonna be on TV, I need you to zhuzh it up. I'm not saying you need to be at the airport with champagne, but a dozen of something. I need it.
I just rather. Can you bring a bottle of Jack Daniels?
I would never, like, for what?
For me to drink.
No, if anything, we would be like old school 2000s, have a limousine, and then we have drinks in the back. You know what? That's what they always did. On like the beginning, I don't know if they still do it because I don't really watch it, but the beginning seasons of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, always them in a limousine going somewhere, drinking in the back. Always.
I don't remember. I mean, I don't know. Child.
That and Orange County. Maybe it was a California thing.
Maybe, but. He gives her the flowers, and she starts complaining about the color. Purple? And scrunching her face up.
Why purple?
Right, and he was like, what's the problem? Like, you don't like the flowers? And she was like, no. I was like, okay, this is going to be a long, you complaining about the color of the damn flowers. Like, come on now, stop it.
She is so hot and cold with him, but I feel like most times, like, more often than not, she's cold. For no reason.
So they leave, and he was talking about his financial issues from last season. He said he's done a good job of kind of getting himself out of debt, paying off some credit card bills, but what he doesn't want to do is end up back where he started. But for this particular night, he did splurge. He got a hotel room in Seattle, and they could see the pier, and they could see the Ferris wheel. It was a really nice room because it had like a living room. It was a suite. So he said the rooms are like $400 or $500 a night. So crazy. I'm feeling like that's what he spent for that room he had. And they looked like they had a really nice night. They ordered in food. They were all hugged up on the balcony. It seemed like it was a nice night. Now I don't know how long that night gonna last.
I'm sure not long.
But it seemed like it was a nice night. So that's what we had with Mike and Natalie. I feel like that was all that we got.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's where we get crazy. Tariq and Hazel, child. Listen. Now, Tariq, he's been on here before, right?
Yeah, he's been on here before, and I think his brother was on here as well.
Tariq is a vet. He has a daughter who's autistic, who he has custody of. Hazel lives in the Philippines. He has a thing with Thailand. He loves, the whole culture, the language, and all of that. So he went on a dating app for Asian women, and that's how he met Hazel. Now, he's been there to visit Hazel, but now Hazel is coming over. But here's he's a rapper, too.
I think that's more of a hobby. I hope it's a hobby. He raps about hot sauce. Okay. Like ghost pepper, yada, yada, yada. He could have kept that. Like, all of it.
Wow.
All of it.
Ghost pepper. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Hazel is bisexual. And in the past, they've had a girlfriend. And Hazel has been clear that that's the setup that she wants. When she comes over here, she wants them to find a girlfriend for them. And he's like, he's cool with that. He's okay with it. But here's the issue. The former girlfriend that they had together, she lives in Thailand. Things didn't work out because Hazel got jealous.
Real quick.
Right. Like, they weren't even that weekend. And Hazel got jealous. Because she said that she felt like he paid more attention to the other girl.
No, I thought that
Minty
the
is
other
her
girl.
name.
I thought Minty was more into. She thought Minty was more into Tariq than
No,
her.
she said she thought Tariq was more into Minty because remember Tariq said that he could speak the language that because she's from Thailand, so he's caught up in the culture, so he can speak Thai. So they would speak to each other in Thai, and she would be sitting there like, "What the fuck y'all talking about?"
Yeah.
So Hazel told him, listen, what you not gonna do, like, we're done with her. Don't call her no more. Don't speak to her no more. But when the coronavirus hit, he reached out to her to make sure that her and her family was okay.
Like, I know y'all got hit really hard. We all got hit really hard.
Right. Like, that is not an excuse for you to reach out to your ex-girlfriend that I told you don't call no more. Then they had another scare where they thought that Hazel was pregnant. And her first test came back positive, but then she took 2 more tests and it came back negative, and he assumed that she went out and had an abortion, and so he got mad at her and stopped speaking to her, and that's when he reached out to Minty. But then came back and realized that it was just it wasn't real. It was just a scare, and that sometimes that's what happens. Women get false positives or whatever. And he said, I wasn't upset if she had decided to have an abortion. I was upset that she didn't talk to me about her decision.
But even that, I just feel like that's like some BS because you could have, even through your anger, you could have still communicated with Hazel and you could have found out what happened in real time instead of then coming back and having this conversation after you use that time in between to then talk to another woman.
I feel like that was just an excuse because my thing is this: you're 46 years old. You're not 25 years old. Yeah. You're 46 years old, and here's what I feel like: you know good and well that women can get false positives. Like this, like, come on, like, stop acting like that's something that doesn't happen. Yeah. Like, you're too old to act like you don't know that a woman can take a pregnancy test and it can come back positive and then you can go back and it come back negative. Like, come on, that's crazy. And then for you to automatically jump to the conclusion that she had an abortion, like, why wouldn't you say, oh my gosh, you miscarried, oh, we lost the baby? Why would you jump to the negative first? Because I mean, I'm not a man, but I feel like your first response should be, oh no, we lost the baby. Not, oh, you went out and had an abortion.
Yeah, he just wanted to, like, put it on her, basically. Yeah.
That's how I feel too. So he's talking to his friend who's telling him, you need to let her know before she get on that plane and come over here that you didn't reach out to the ex-girlfriend because you already know how she feels.
Mind you,
she's leaving her, she has a son, and the father of the son has custody, so she's leaving her son. So she's giving up a lot to come over here. You need to be honest with her.
But I just feel like, look, somebody coming over here, like, just tell them once they land, like, after y'all had y'all first night. Like, tell me the day after. Tell me the day after. No. Because
no.
It ruins it if you do it before. It ruins the whole thing.
Before she get on a plane and come over, she needs to have all the information. Because once she's here, she's stuck now.
I would tell it. No. I would wait.
Y'all. Anyway.
I would wait.
Y'all hear that, right? Okay.
I'm being honest. Look,
I respect your honesty, but honest. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying I wouldn't tell.
I respect your honesty, but
I would wait until day 2 brunch. Like, hey, now that we
okay,
we back together. We got to talk about some things.
All right, Rebecca and Zaid. Now I don't like him.
He's from Tanzania. I feel like I'm not saying it right.
No. Oh shoot! If you hadn't said it, it's not Tanzania. It's
Tunisia. It's like I feel like you pronounce it T-U. You spell it Tunsia.
But I would have said it right if you hadn't said Tanzania. Now I got Tanzania in my head.
Tansui. It's a little Asian. I'm gonna do that.
It's at the top of the African continent.
And this ain't the first one she done got from there.
Right. So that's part of the problem, is that this isn't the first guy that she done went over to the Middle East, well, and went over there and married some dude. Now, the difference was, last time she married the guy over there and then brought him to the United States. This time she's trying to bring him to the United States. So they're having a problem getting...
I was trying to get the pronunciation. Press pause. Tunisia. But the first girl was wrong then.
Tunisia.
Thank
you. Anyway. Anyway, y'all didn't see what happened when we paused the camera. Anyway. So, I don't like him because he seems very controlling. And she seems very submissive to him.
Yes, I think that's the role she likes to play.
Oh, okay.
And also, I think with him, part of the controlling, I think it maybe has to do with his Islamic background.
Yeah, it definitely,
upbringing. And then also, remember the clip where she was dressed like, and her chests were out, and he was
not hearing it. He was not hearing it. Right, and I feel like the guy was looking at her tattoos. Like, he wasn't looking at her breasts, he was looking at her arms.
I mean, I don't know what he was looking at, but, like, the fact that he was ready to fight over that.
He was ready to fight.
That's a lot.
But he had already told her he didn't want her to go out in that shirt to begin with.
He did. But then also, like, imagine somebody saying, I don't want you going out in that. You gonna change?
But I think some stuff is a respect factor.
So you gonna change?
Depending on what it is, yeah. There's some things are a respect factor. Yeah.
So if you had on that top, would you change?
I mean, I don't know. Okay. I'm just saying I don't know.
Look, I'm not judging you. I'm just saying okay.
I don't care about you judging me. Anyway, so Rebecca ends up going out with her best friend, and her best friend is her former boss, who is also a private investigator. And she was like, listen, I've been with Rebecca through the thick and thin. I was with her through her last relationship. I saw how that turned out. And what I just don't want her to do is I don't want her to go back in that same space. I know what she went through. I know how bad that man used her and hurt her. And I'm just, I'm really worried about her. And so she's trying to warn Rebecca. She's like, remember I did that background check on him. Remember he ain't never had no job.
But she said it's because he gets paid under the table.
He gets paid under the table, and that he really does want to work.
But, like, what jobs are you doing at the age of 25 that, like, your whole entire work history is being paid underneath the table?
Right. I just feel like for you not to have any work history is concerning at 25, 26.
Yeah.
I mean, to have a spotted work history is one thing. Then you could be like, oh, well, I had jobs here and there where I was getting paid under the table. But you figure, generally speaking, 17, 18 years old, so you figure almost 10 years you haven't had no job. Now, did he go to college?
I don't know because they don't talk about that.
Right. So I don't know if he went to university or not. Maybe that's some time that he didn't work. But again, at this point, he should have some sort of work history. I mean, that's crazy. The other thing is they wear each other all the time. They have t-shirts. They have coffee mugs. They have a blanket. Her credit card. You know how some people, you can get whatever picture you want on your credit card? Her picture on her credit card is him.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had underwear with each other's face on it. I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised, but that...
would not be surprised.
So, we also see in this episode where she goes to, like, a GameStop or whatever to buy him, like, a PlayStation or something for him to do something during the day while she's working. Because, when they first come over here, they can't work. I'm like, but he need to be looking at the one ass or something.
You're buying something that's going to potentially cause arguments. That will actually most likely cause arguments. Because you're going to come home from working at the chicken shack, and then you're going to be like, oh, but what did you do all day? The house is a mess. And he's going to be like, well, you know what? In my culture, it's a woman's place to clean up after the home and to cook and do all this. And then he's going to be playing his game, and you're going to be so upset.
But I feel like even without the game, that's how he feels. Like, even without... And then she wanted to make sure that he could connect it to a credit card. Whose credit card? Your credit card?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, so you want to make sure he can spend more of your money after you already crying about still being in debt from the first man?
Right. She's talking about she is still financially in debt from the first situation. So...
How's she affording this one?
Working at the chicken shack, I guess. I don't know.
This is crazy.
Well, you see she's giving up her apartment and moving with her daughter.
I need to find some people like this.
Anyway, so he had his interview because of her past, he had to go to the embassy and actually go through an interview process where they, I guess, basically find out whether this is a real situation or this is just for play or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he had his interview. He said he's not sure how it went, but at the end of the interview, took his passport and was like, come back. That is crazy. Like, I've never heard that before. Like who's taking your passport?
That's crazy. Like, that. Imagine somebody taking your birth certificate.
Now, when we went to Kenya, remember we had to give our passports to the embassy, but that was so we could get. Well, maybe that's what they're doing. Remember, we had to drop our passports off to the embassy,
but like
to get it was like a stamp we had to get.
I had to do that when I went to Russia. Like, that's normal to give your passport to an embassy so you can get a visa. Like,
right, so maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe that's what he's doing now.
Well, he should have explained it a little bit better because the way it seemed was just
the way it did come off was crazy. Because, I mean, we went down there to get whatever at this point, the visa, and what they had in 2 or 3 days, we dropped. And because we live where the embassy is, we just drove it to the embassy, dropped it off, went back and picked it up like 2 days later. But did you had to actually mail yours, or did we have yours and we took it for you?
I think that's what happened.
Yeah. So, I think you gave us your passport, and we went and we took everybody's passport at one time. So, I guess that's not too crazy, but anyway, child. So, last but not least, y'all, we have Jovi and Yara. Listen. This is disaster with a capital D.
I like Jovi.
Jovi, you like Jovi because you want to party with Jovi. You want to go. You want to go to New Orleans. You want to find Jovi. Email him. He'll party with you. Find him on Instagram and DM. He'll be ready. He'll be down. Because I promise you, Yara ass is back in the Ukraine. She ain't here no more.
She not.
So Jovi, if you remember, he's the one that's in New Orleans. Who he met her because he works all around the world and he travels and stuff like that. And Yara comes over, and from the minute, now I understood. I gave her the benefit of the doubt when she first got off the plane, and she was like, I'm tired. I don't want to go party tonight. And he was all ready to hit the French Quarter. And he was like, yo, I want to show you what it's like. I want to show you New Orleans. I get it. You're excited. You want to show her your city. But she was like, I've been on a plane for 30 hours. Yeah. 30. And listen, again, we understand. So he gets her back to the apartment, and she is complaining from the word go. Now, granted, there are some things that he probably could have done, like had the apartment cleaned, because it wasn't clean.
Joey, you messed up.
I don't even think his bed was made. Like,
probably not.
I get it, you're a bachelor, but come on, like, you have to, like, some things, even if that's not how you live, you know what the expectation is for somebody else. Yeah. Like, when you have company over, especially company that's going to be spending the night in your bed, like, make the bed, put fresh sheets. Like, he had a broken table in the middle of the living room. Like
he did know enough to get a bigger apartment.
He did try.
And a better neighborhood, he said.
He did try. He said he's in one of the best neighborhoods in New Orleans, so he's spending a little bit of money. I mean, he did try. I'm not saying he didn't put forth any effort. I'm just saying he could have done a little bit more. But I don't think anything he did would have been good enough. Let me be clear. No. I don't think there was anything that he could have done that would have stopped her from complaining. Because she found a way to complain about every freaking thing. So then he takes her to the French Quarter. She complaining about the French Quarter, talking about something. This is America. I mean, the Ukraine is better than this. Now, let me be clear. As somebody who's been to the French Quarter, I've been to the French Quarter during Mardi Gras, and I've been to the French Quarter when it wasn't Mardi Gras. The French Quarter does stink.
It didn't stink when I was there.
Okay, well, it stunk when I was there. And you might roll up on some stuff going on in the French Quarter. You might see some throw up on the ground. You might see one of the horses pooping. Like, stuff does happen down in the French Quarter, but it's still like a nice place to go. Like, it's still like you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a major landmark. If you're going to New Orleans and don't go to the French Quarter, you might as well not bother going to New Orleans. Like, that'd be stupid, you know? Yeah. So I was just like, for her to just be so nasty and so negative, like,
to me, she reminds me of what's Michael's girlfriend, Natalie. She reminds me of her, and I think they're both from Eastern European countries.
Well, so Natalie is. Well, see, both of them are from the Ukraine. Both of them are from the Ukraine. Julia is from Russia, and then Natalie and Yara are from. Yara are from the Ukraine. So maybe it's a part of their personality. I mean, I'm not putting that against all people from the Ukraine, but I'm just saying. So then he says, well, I want you to come and meet my mom. We're going to drive down and we're going to spend the night, because I guess where his mom lives is not like a 20-minute drive. So he's like, we'll drive down, we'll spend the night. And she was like, no. And he was like, what do you mean no? She was like, I'm not doing that.
And the family wanted to meet her as well.
Right.
They're about to get married.
Right. And he was like, well, what do you mean you're not doing that? She was like, I'm not, she said, I'll go meet your mom, but I'm not spending the night. I don't want to stay in another house. I want to stay in my house. I don't want to stay in a house of some stranger's house. He's like, it's not my stranger, it's my mom. Like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, I don't do things I don't want to do, and I don't want to do that, so I'm not doing it.
Like, no compromise
Nothing.
whatsoever.
She was like, we're not doing it.
No compromise. Like, none.
It's not happening.
Just like, I don't care that it's your mom. Yeah, I'll meet her. I can say hi, but then we need to be going. We need to be on our way.
Yep.
I was just like, how rude.
Right. And I don't know how, but clearly they must live, his mom must live far enough away that he feels like, okay, it'll be easier and better for us to spend the night, so that way we don't have to worry about time. You can meet everybody. You know what I mean? Like, so it'll be like a relaxed situation. I was just like,
he said that he's close with his mom, like he's close with his family.
Right. So
that's probably something that he does like on the regular.
Yeah, that's probably what he does. So
if she having this, like if she's this apprehensive about it, like this resistant day one, why are you marrying her, Jovi?
He ain't. They ain't gonna make it.
The baby not there. The baby not there.
Right. The baby's gone.
What's keeping you? Because y'all don't seem like y'all match. Y'all
I don't know.
Seem like y'all match.
I feel like that was a situation where he should have. This is gonna come out harsh, but he should have taken the blessing that God gave him. However, that baby disappeared, because I had my suspicions. I about to say I had my suspicions, but when the baby was no longer a factor,
he shouldn't have been one.
You better say it again.
He shouldn't have been one.
Okay.
Jovi, leave this girl if she has already left you for somebody else with more money. Jovi, leave her. Leave her.
Did you say with somebody else with more money?
Jovi, leave her. Leave her. Y'all are not compatible. Y'all are not compatible. At all.
Child.
This does not have to be a story.
Anyway, y'all, that is it. This was a long review, but that's because we were running our mouths, and Niecy,
don't point it at me.
Gotta add her commentary to it. So, but thank you for joining.
You're welcome.
You're the I'm just gone. Bye.
You about to say I'm the reason for what?